The following program is presented by New Mexico Dish TV, providing Southwesterners with satellite programming everywhere.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing good tonight. We're in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada for tonight's RWL Southwest Wrestling. I'm Chicago Denny Awesome, and joining me is my buddy, the newly appointed and duly designated General Manager of the RWL Southwest region, Gene Berry, my buddy, my pal. Congratulations, Gene, you did great.
Well, I can't recommend arriving drunk at work to make a point to everyone. It certainly seems to have worked for me. But I can't take all the credit, Dan. Some of that credit goes to Hangman Tex Lynch, who's assured me that next month we'll be back again with a new environment, new equipment, and this will be our last broadcast over this wretched New Mexico Dish Network.
Yep, say goodbye to rinky-dink service serving less than 100 homes. Meantime, up next on RWL Southwest, our opening match is going to be George the Animal Steele versus Greg the Hammer Valentine.
I'm calling it right now. Steele's an idiot. Put my money on Valentine.
Good evening, fans. Welcome to RWL Southwest Wrestling. Our opening match tonight, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. First, the manager, Captain Lou Albano. And from Detroit, Michigan, weighing 302 pounds, George the Animal Steele.
Without question, Danny, one of my least favorite wrestlers in the entire world, George the Animal Steele, who could use some electrolysis.
Personally, I want to bathe the guy in a bathtub full of nair, but that's just me. Put that aside, George the Animal Steele, set to go, ready to compete against Greg the Hammer Valentine in a Legends Division match that's definitely going to be one to watch.
As I said before, put my money on Greg Valentine, a man who at least has a working brain.
Oh yeah, granted, his brain's a little bit effed up, but George is still a legendary performer.
That and $9 will get you a rotten cup of coffee at Starbucks.
His opponent, from Seattle, Washington, weighing in at 246 pounds, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Not the first time we see Greg the Hammer Valentine around here at RWL Southwest, but he's definitely got a tall order in front of him as far as George the Animal Steele is concerned.
Greg's advantage comes from being a thinking animal, unlike George the Animal Steele. Greg the Hammer Valentine can reason quickly.
You know something, Gene? I don't think you realize the potential hazard that Greg the Hammer Valentine's putting himself in going up against George the Animal Steele.
He might catch some sort of staph infection.
Ha! Gene, that's messed up. All right, well, our first matchup of the night, a Legends Division matchup, just about set to go here. The official rings the bell. George the Animal Steele misses with the clothesline. Catches Valentine with a hip toss. Valentine takes Animal Steele down with a drop toe hold. George Steele shoves Valentine down to the canvas. Steele rounds him up. Nails him with a backbreaker. George the Animal Steele starting to put the boots to Greg the Hammer Valentine. Valentine whipped into the corner. He counters and escapes the corner but catches a kick. The takes him down to the mat again. George the Animal Steele dragging Valentine just about center ring. Drops a fist on him. Steele with a hard right hand. Rounds up Valentine. Has him up against the ropes. Hard whip to the opposite side. Valentine quick with the counter. Steele counters two. Valentine back into the corner again. Catches a clothesline. Winds up down on the mat. Steele has him up over the shoulders. Up off the top rope. Down goes Greg Valentine. George Steele pins one. But only a one. Greg Valentine rolls out of the ring. Rolls himself back inside. Turns around. George the Animal Steele. Classic amateur wrestling takedown. Followed up with a boot to the back of the head. Greg the Hammer Valentine taking control of this match away from George the Animal Steele right in front of Captain Lou Albano. You know he can't be happy about that. Valentine cover. Just a 2 count. George the Animal Steele powering out of the pin. George Steele taking a little bit of punishment here at the hands of Greg the Hammer Valentine. Gets his head slammed to the canvas again. Valentine starts putting the boots to George the Animal Steele. Steele winds up the arm and a shoulder tackle, takes Valentine down. A leg drop across the throat. George the Animal Steele countered by Greg the Hammer Valentine, back up on his feet. A clothesline that takes George the Animal Steele out over the top rope and out onto the floor. Valentine rounds up George Steele. Steele counters. Valentine counters. Steele counters with an arm drag. Valentine nails him with a kick, takes himself back inside the ring. And here comes George the Animal Steele right after him. Steele with an elbow to the face. Valentine counters with another elbow to the face. Whips Steele to the ropes. Steele quickly takes him down. Smashes his elbow into Valentine's shoulder. A kick. A counter to the kick from Valentine, and an elbow across the top of the head to George the Animal Steele. Greg Valentine goes to work on the left arm of George the Animal Steele, trying to yank it out of the socket. George Steele finding himself in a little bit of trouble here. Valentine lets go of the hold and goes into a different kind of hold. George the Animal Steele catching some business here. A back body drop for Greg Valentine. George Steele rounds up Greg Valentine. Valentine counters with an inverted DDT that puts George the Animal Steele on the floor on the outside. Valentine going right after him, but George Steele takes himself back inside the ring. Valentine has him up. A knee breaker and a kick to the leg. Greg Valentine drives the knee of George the Animal Steele into the mat. Follows that up with a stomp. He's softening up them legs for the figure 4. You can count on it. Look at this. There's a leg snap from Valentine. And sure enough, here we go. Oh, another leg snap from Greg the Hammer Valentine. Goes for a cover, but only a 2 count. George the Animal Steele still too tough. Valentine tries to gouge the face of George the Animal Steele, but he counters. Valentine drags him with a fireman's carry. Another knee breaker. Greg Valentine taking control of this matchup from George the Animal Steele. A stomp to the chest. Animal quickly back up. A kick to the midsection of Valentine. Up over the shoulder, but Valentine counters it into a DDT. Down goes George Steele. Up, Lou Albano starting to argue with Greg Valentine as George the Animal Steele gets back up to a standing position. Goes behind. Whoa! Jumping neckbreaker from George Steele. George the Animal Steele moves back in on Greg Valentine. Tags him with a clothesline. A second one, a rebound off the ropes, and a heel kick. takes Valentine down to the mat. Valentine, look at this right here, rolls him up into a pin. 1, 2, no. Still no. George the Animal Steele doesn't want to give up here. Steele makes himself back inside the ring, tags Valentine with a shot to the back of the head, follows it up with a DDT. George the Animal Steele setting it up on Greg the Hammer Valentine. Up over their shoulders we go. And a sit-out slam from George Steele with a cover, but too close to the ropes. Valentine back up on his feet real quick. There's an uppercut from George the Animal Steele. He's starting to take control of this match back up again. Lou Albano putting hands on Greg the Hammer Valentine. He should have been thrown out just for that. Here we go. George the Animal Steele on his turnbuckle fetish as he rounds up Greg the Hammer Valentine. Valentine puts on the brakes and slams him down with one arm. And again, Captain Lou Albano arguing with Greg Valentine, keeping him distracted while George Steele gets back up. Valentine right there whips him into the corner, turns him around again, has him all the way up, back suplex from Valentine. Valentine swept and taken down by George Steele. Here's a pin. 1, 2. But again, just another near fall. George the Animal Steele again disassembling another turnbuckle. Again, Valentine goes up over the shoulders and slams face first into a flapjack. Steele rounds up Valentine. Whoa! Valentine tagged him a beauty with that knee right to the face. Greg Valentine taking him down. He's had enough. There it is, the figure 4. And when Greg puts on that figure 4, whoa, he let the hold go right away. I wonder what's up with that. Valentine drags Steele. Look at this. Albano getting involved. Greg Valentine going to any means necessary to win this match. But Lou Albano distracting the referee. George Steele gathered up. An elbow to the midsection from Steele. And a knee to the skull from Valentine. Valentine going for a cover. 1, 2, 3. And I'll tell you what, he put George the Animal Steele's lights out. Greg Valentine wins by pinfall.
At 8 minutes and 32 seconds, your winner by pinfall, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Did you catch the face on Lou Albano, Gene? Oh boy, is he mad.
No, certainly is. And why not? George the Animal Steele's failed him this time. Greg Valentine picking up the pinfall win over an idiot.
I don't know, Gene. The guy's got rudimentary talent. It's just that, well, he's got that weird turnbuckle fetish, too.
An incipient case of monomania, Danny. The man is a psychopath and an idiot.
Ah, well, you know, some people keep Teslas, some people eat turnbuckles. Each to their own, I always say. In any case, Greg the Hammer Valentine picks up the 1, 2, 3 pinfall over George the Animal Steele. And fans, we'll be back with a whole lot more RWL Southwest Wrestling right after this brief message. Stick around.